The Degen Ape Academy and the Degen Trash Pandas, those collections, that NFT project, there's something about it. There's something about it that just means more to me personally. There's something that resonates with me within the culture, within the community, within the project itself and its significance to Solana. It just means more to me than really any other NFT project that I've ever interacted with on any chain that I've ever interacted with NFTs on. And it made me start to ponder why. What is it about the Degen Ape Academy that really sinks in? Is it something with the historical significance of Solana? Is it the technological improvements to Solana that came out of it? Is it some financial aspect, or is it more? So actually today what I'm doing is I'm sitting down with a couple big names within the Degeniverse. That would be Bardstocks on Twitter. He does a lot of good threads talking about the Degeniverse, his bullish sentiment towards the Degeniverse as well as Solana in general, as well as Pit the Panda. Now, you know Pit the Panda because I interviewed him recently, and he is one of the developers on the dev team of the Degen Trash Pandas. I wanted to talk to them about what they think the investment thesis for NFTs, Solana, and the Degen Ape Academy or Degen Trash Pandas really are. Why did they buy a Degen in the very beginning? What was their entire reason for joining this community and contributing to this community right away? What does it really mean to them? Now, of course, nothing in this video should ever be construed as financial advice. None of us are financial advisors. These are just conversations between friends talking about things that we're passionate about. You should always do your own research when it comes to investing in really anything, as well as crypto and NFTs, because there is risk associated with it, and you should do what's best for you in your situation. So without further ado, I am sitting down with none other than Pit the Panda and Bardstocks to talk to them about what the Degeniverse means to them and why they are invested. Let's go. All right, part two, sitting down with Pit the Panda again, this time adding an additional guest into the show. That's going to be Bardstocks. Now, you should be following both of them on Twitter. If you're not following them on Twitter, pause this video right now, go over to Twitter, and follow them. Obviously, Pit, based on our previous conversation, we know that you are a developer with the Degen Trash Panda team, and we have some exciting stuff to talk about with Candy Machine V2 and the start of the DTP Mint launching like minutes ago. Also, Bardstocks, you recently did a fascinating thread about the historical significance and the investment thesis of the Degen Ape Academy and subsequently the Degen Trash Pandas. This is why we're here today. We're here today to talk about really why we are such strong believers in this project. And that's not to FUD other projects. We're not here to put them down. But there's something special about this project, right? Why? Whoever wants to take this question first. Why did you buy a Degen Ape or Trash Panda?
All right, it's up to you, Pit. Me or you?
I think given that I look to you for answers on how I explain to people why this is a good place to be, let's have you go first.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So here's what happened. Okay. So first I'm going to address how I got into it, and then I'm going to address why I think it's relevant, why it's important, and why I think it's going to be big in the future. I'm going to try to condense that, though, a little bit to give room for Pit, obviously. So what happened with me was I didn't even know that the Degeniverse existed. I didn't even know about the apes on the day that it was supposed to mint, which was August 12th. And then, obviously, as we all know, it got pushed back 24 hours to August 13th, and then another 24 hours to August 14th. And then there was an additional 2-hour delay on the day on August 14th. You know, that's the notorious Monolith is typing 2 more hours meme, if you guys know about the Degeniverse lore. But anyways, yeah, so I didn't know about it. And a lot of people are going to give me shit for this. Sorry if that's, I'm not supposed to use curse words. I can say, okay. People are going to give me shit for this. I've said this story like a million times. I apologize to all apes who have already heard this story, but for the YouTube audience, basically what happened was I didn't know about it. I saw it on the timeline, randomly came into the Discord, and then on August 14th, I just came on. Okay, the Met wasn't live, and I was just sitting there. 2 hours later, happens, and then I randomly pull one of the rarest apes, And after at that point, I was like, I still didn't get it. I actually didn't realize the ape was important. I was like, he has this halo, like he's got crayons in his mouth. But I actually like this other one that kind of resembles Popeye, where it's like this albino ape with a pipe in its mouth and like a captain's hat on. I thought that one was better. But this is when I was exposed to rarity, like the idea, like what's going on here, NFTs. And then I read an article online about parallel cards, where parallel cards had done really well. Not to like show them or whatever. I don't own any parallel cards, but like one card, like in particular, sold for $1 million. And I was like, whoa, wait a minute. Like maybe there's more to this than meets the eye, right? And so at that point, that's when I started digging in, and I really liked what I saw with the project, with the artists, with and just the general concept and the historical significance, which was it was the first decentralized trustless mint on Solana, and that's when I realized this was something big and it had a ton of potential.
I mean, it is a fantastic story, and I mean, your ape is a truly iconic ape, and like it is a well-known ape, right? Like everybody's seen it at this point, and again, if you're not, go back and like pause and go look at it because it's a sight to behold. You know.
Yeah, I've definitely posted enough and showed it enough to the point where surely everyone must know it by now.
Yeah, but I mean it is. So okay, so Pitt, you go, and then I'll tell my story, which is not much of a story.
Well, I guess I got called into it when the shit hit the fan, I sort of fell in love with the way you fall in love with someone that you don't really like at first, but then you're forced to sit in a room with them for like 2 days straight, and then you kind of start to like them. That was how I fell in love with the DAA. It's like, you know, I had just seen these assholes posting memes on Twitter, and I was like, oh, that's cool, right? But then I got to like meet them and hang out with them, and you get to know Monolith, and you sort of sit there and, you know, after 2 days of that, you start to grow an attachment, right? So like I was there. I clicked the mint button. I went through the shit. There's something about. I mean, I do this a lot with my emotional terrorism campaigns. I like to create situations where people are forced to suffer together, and you can blame my early frat days for this. But because of that suffering, that mutual suffering we all went through, I really like the Degen Ape Academy, because for me, they represent a time where, you know, we were all made, right? Also just the intellectual property is just way better than all of the other ones. Like, I mean, hell, look, you're wearing it. That stupid looking ape is very commercially friendly. You can do a lot of cool things with it. The brand is very forgiving of mistakes, which I make a lot of, so it works well for me. For me, it's not really about the art so much as the people behind the art. I mean, the art's cool and stuff, but like what really gets me is the history and the lore and the being a part of it. A lot of projects just either pay off their artists, they fix some, or give them some small amount of the royalties, and really it's like a business arbitrage play where some team hires some artists to do this thing that they think will work, and then they do it. This is one of the few IPs where the artist is the central authority running the brand. I mean, Monolith is the brand, right? And not a lot of others can claim that. The artist is normally not that business oriented. So that means a lot, right? Where the direction for the brand is also the direction for the business.
I've been trying to find Monolith on Fiverr for like weeks now, and he's not there. He's too busy running these Degen Apes. No.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, no one knows who he is, but I can tell you that he like has industry experience. Like, he's not just some guy, which is very cool.
Yeah, I mean, he clearly has to have some sort of like classically trained skill to also see how two attributes could marry together and still look good. And so, I mean, it's interesting that you said the things that you said, because my approach was completely different. For me, it was about the artwork, and still very much is the centerpiece is the artwork. Bard kind of touched on it a little bit with your thread, and we're going to circle back to your thread in a minute. Mm-hmm. But you said that there was something about how you've got this fierce ape, this fierce looking gorilla, but then it has all
Yes.
these silly attributes.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a juxtaposition there where basically the ape is really fierce and like looks kind of angry, but then there's something really silly going on at the same time where he's like chewing crayons, chugging glue, wearing a cowboy hat, and like it's this wacky NFT that it just doesn't look normal. And then that's when the aha moment happened for me, where I was like, this is actually there's much more to this than I think there is. It's not just some 3D artwork. There's a lot more going on. Yeah.
Yeah. And for me, so I originally approached this with kind of an investor's mindset into it, not expecting to get a much more comprehensive experience, a holistic experience that I've been getting. But my original thought was like, oh, I haven't seen artwork like this in NFTs yet. Like we've seen an ass ton of pixel projects, coming, and this is the early days of Solana.
Yeah.
I'm talking about August at this point. Like August, if you were coming from NFTs and Ethereum, you saw every single pixel derivative that already existed on the planet in Ethereum. And then you saw all of the 2D artwork that came out after Bay C. Because after Bay C came out, and this is not to FUD these projects, because I held them at least at some point or do hold them, but then there was all sorts of other 2D artwork that was a profile picture like the Vogue, the Doge Pound group or whatever they were. Like all of these like good, talented art, but still nothing exciting. Along comes Monolith with 3D artwork with kind of a new flair of the attributes and the style because of the degen aspect, the chewing on a shoe, the chewing on crayons, the glue. Like these were new attributes and new tastes. There were still some that we, were reused because everybody can identify, a zombie with a crown as something rare. But there was a new flair to it. And to me goes, oh, that actually requires a ton of talent to do.
Yes.
Like a ton of talent to do. And I believe that when masses of people come in, they're going to identify with that first. Basically, what would my dad appreciate? Is he going to look, and again, not to fund a project, but is he going to look at like a pixel project and say, well, that's better than, that required more skill as an artist than, Monolith's ape? My dad's not going to do that. He's going to say no. So, and that's what I'm talking about. It's the common investor.
Yeah, I can see the appeal to like pixels and stuff. I mean, I used to play like Mega Man. I used to play N64 and all that stuff. So there's an appreciation for me. But certainly when I look at Monolith's art, it's like it's no contest to me. There's just so much. I mean, like if you look at the shadowing, if you look at the lighting, if you look at everything involved, it required much more time and effort to do that than anything else. And to me, that's really important. But that's not the end all be all. But certainly for me, it was. What about you, Pitt?
I agree that the art does fall in this weird uncanny valley. Very, very few 3D art like so successfully captures human emotion in an animal as Monolith art. It's funny because originally we were going to do horses, and Monolith was trying to come up with horses that looked like they could race, but also kind of had that human touch. And we really couldn't do it. We went through tons of iterations. Maybe at some point we'll do like a special charity giveaway with some of the iterations of the drafts on his horses. But like it's tough to make art like that is this connecting with like the human eyes and face. And not many animals really can pull it off. Like apes are one. I think trash pandas are another. Squirrels you could probably pull off too. I think that's why they do so well.
Wait, can I interrupt you for a second? Okay, so I didn't know about horses. Wait, did you slip something that we weren't supposed to know? Was there effort?
So initially I approached. Okay. I was like me and Viper. We were actually looking to do a drop, and we were interviewing artists to do it. And we originally wanted to do horses. We wanted to do a horse racing game, like Zed, but not as crappy. We talked to a bunch of different artists, and at the time we already knew Monolith because we had helped a few things here or there, and we told him our idea. We were like, hey, we're looking for artists. Like they had this idea for this horse racing game, and he told us to stop talking to people and that he was our artist and that was it. And then we started working. Yeah, and then we started working on horses, and we worked on horses for like a month. And no matter which way we cut it, with his art style, the horse just did not look good. He couldn't make it work. And then we have this love affinity for these raccoon stickers on Telegram, and we sent him one. Um, like it's this raccoon that does cocaine and has guns and stuff. It's hilarious. And we sent him one, and we were like, hey, how about, like, I was like on a whim, I was like, hey, how about instead of a horse, how about a raccoon? And he, like, I think he had something whipped up in 2 hours. Like it just inspired him. He, like, basically had the face, that stupid grin that the trash pandas have. He had it, and then from there it was like, okay, clearly we were meant to do trash pandas. And so racing became scavenging, and horses became pandas.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about like horses. I thought you were talking about horses before the apes. I was like, wait a minute, like, how is this? What's going on here? The simulation's breaking.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no. We may still.
This
do
is
horses
after.
someday.
Yeah.
We can figure it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think we all agree that there is something special to the artwork here, the level of talent that actually requires to it. It's an interesting point, though, that you were talking about how the artist is the team or is the inspiration. And Mono has come out and said many times, particularly on Twitter, that his primary focus is the brand. He recently tweeted, "Brand first, everything else comes later," or something to that effect. It was like 6 words. So tell me, what does that mean to y'all when Mono talks about the brand? Is this part of your investment thesis, is building a brand? How much work does that mean? Where do we go from here? Where do we go when it comes to building a brand?
Do you want to take that, Pit, or me?
I mean, I guess I can go. So yeah, I mean, ultimately, when you buy one of these, I've said this before, but if there was just one ape, it was a one of one, it would be worthless. What makes it worthwhile is that there are 10,000 of them, and because there's 10,000, there are many holders. Because there are many holders, there's a community. Because there's a community, there are community leaders, and there are also memes. And the brand is it started as, like, it was seeded by Monolith and the marketing team, but really it's sort of driven by the meme generation of the crowd. And when you buy one of these apes, you're actually really buying, like, almost like you're buying an equity stake in the actual like the madness of that particular crowd. That's the brand. The brand is the people inside of it, constantly generating new content every day, and you're sort of making this bet that when you buy into it, that it's going to drive further value down the road. Like, my personal bet with DAA is and DTP is that the stuff you're wearing is going to be worn by millions. Like, and they may not even realize it's an NFT. For them, it's just a cartoon brand. And I think that the power of that is driven by the power of the community with its memeing, right? Like, it just keeps going. It's self-sustaining. It's like a meme fusion generator.
Yep.
So for me, and yeah, I do agree with a lot of the points Pitt made. I mean, basically, I think there is a bit of a symbiotic relationship, actually, where, like, what's a good example? Okay, if you release a video game and it's a really good game, then a lot of people are going to play it and form a community around that, right? And I feel like art is kind of similar, where, or at least with NFTs, where, like, if the art is really good, if I mean, I guess you can form a community around everything. I don't know. I do think the art is important. The historical significance is important, but certainly a community and having, like, a fun community really brings awareness to the NFT project. I think at a certain point, though, like, I feel like once everyone kind of knows about it, maybe it won't matter as much. But I think, yeah, it's tough for me to say. Am I making any sense?
Yeah.
Like,
no,
in
I'm
terms of,
following you.
yeah. It's like, yeah, the community matters. And, but I also think increasing the value of the brand, constantly putting out new content, constantly, airdropping stuff, not constantly, but, like, kind of bringing more and more value to the brand, to the holders, I think is important too, right? So
Right. And this is one of the big reasons that I think, Pitt, you wanted to launch the Degen Trash Pandas, was not just to have art for the sake of having art and, selling it, but to grow the brand and to grow the universe.
Yeah. And the apes will always play a part. Like, they're going to be treated more as items in the game I create. That, like, the problem with the apes is you can't screw with them. So it limits their usefulness in players. But yeah, like I don't think of, and Bardstocks and I disagree on this, but I don't consider NFTs a classical investment or an investment at all. I consider them kind of, I don't know, in some cases more of an expense. But if you want to look at the return on investment for the return on investment that you get from holding a trash panda is really just, getting to play a part in my madness. Like, it is the experience you're buying into. And that is like the brand. It's like you said, it's releasing new content. The goal with the trash pandas is to have content on a monthly basis that is engaging and interactive and causes you to feel stress, and that stress causes you to do something that interacts with your peers or the brand, and sort of drives like this virtuous cycle of bringing people in, which with a constricted supply like we have will drive up values. So yeah, I agree. The part of the brand is the community, but the other part is the I guess the brand leadership releasing more stuff over time. It can't just be just a picture one time.
And hazing pledges.
Hazing pledges, yeah, that's the idea.
Yeah.
So I mean,
oh, can I
well,
respond to that, or?
let me go.
Yeah, he can
and
respond.
then,
Okay, yeah,
and
sure,
then
yeah,
and
yeah.
then I'll go,
Yeah.
and then Bart will go.
Yeah,
So
go.
this is where I was going originally with all that. Is like, for me, it did start out as just an investment, and my investment thesis was this artwork, in my opinion, is going to be the most appreciated by the masses when there is mass adoption. That was my original thesis. What I found out when I started to get involved with this was that there's more to NFTs than just the artwork. There's a reason why pixel projects are extraordinarily successful right now. There's also a reason why the Degen Ape Academy is set up to be an extremely great long-term brand, and it all comes down to community and community building. Whether that community is built, through fundraising initiatives or DAO initiatives or hazing and a game or whatever. But that's where I found out that an NFT actually is an investment that has a life around it, that actually has a personal connection to people if they want it, if they choose to have a personal connection to it. They can. And that's why it's, for me, the Degen Ape Academy is something special. All right, now Bard.
Yeah, so I understand, like, it's, basically when you buy an NFT, I totally get it, like, the community aspect of it. I think, the investment thesis part of it is basically when you look at Ethereum, and, not that I'm like a big fan of it. I think Solana is just the best. I'm just keeping it real here. but
Yeah.
but like when you look at Ethereum, when you look at like Base C, when you look at Fidenzas, when you look at Punks, and you see that they got to like 200K in valuations for just the floor. I think Fidenza was like 500K. It was like totally ridiculous. That's kind of where this investment thesis kind of goes towards, or kind of connects with. Like, everyone sees this and they're like, okay, well, if this can happen on Ethereum, then certainly this can happen on Solana. And there's also the aspect to that. I kind of feel like NFTs are a little bit like new generation trading cards, where, like, right now we could be holding on to PSA 10 Charizards, right, with the Degen Apes. We could be holding on to some really expensive stuff that appreciates in value in the future. But because we're like in this like present moment, it's much more easy to look at it and say, oh, okay, this is about community, this is about growing things. And I guess there is a bit of like a disingenuousness involved with seeing it as just an investment. But yeah, like, ultimately, if there is no community, then, like, is it really that valuable? I don't know. But I do think that it will be valuable, like, regardless. But I want there to be a community, and I love the community. I think that empowers it too. I think there's like this weird like balancing act that happens where basically you want the community to do really well, but also if the branding is really good and the product is great and we're getting exactly what we want from it and we know it's high quality, then I feel like it goes hand in hand almost. I don't know.
Do you think, and this is a question for both of you, the Degen Ape Academy and the Degen Trash Panda have gone through these moments where we've almost had to tear all of Solana NFTs down to the studs and rebuild it twice now. Candy Machine version 1, Candy Machine version 2.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that will play a significance in the brand? Not necessarily the project or the success of the project, but the brand and the marketing aspect in the future, in the long run. Will people come to this knowing that, oh, that's the Degeniverse, and they're the ones who did this?
I don't know. I actually I have a feeling with mass market adoption, probably not. There might be a middle term, like a midterm. I don't know what do you call it? In the medium horizon, we may see people coming because of the historical significance of that particular piece of history. But I suspect in the long term, when we're looking at millions adopting it, they may not even understand what Candy Machine is, like as a concept. I don't think it'll come up.
I'm gonna force them to read my thread, so they're gonna know.
Yeah, like
You do see, like, there's actually a potential here for, like, Degen historians.
Yeah, well, so okay, yeah. Sorry, I'll let you go, and then I'll
No, that was
add a
it.
point. Okay. So, I mean, basically, okay, I think people will always know, and the reason why I think this is because I'm drawing comparisons from history. Do you remember when people were buying those rocks on Ethereum? Like, and they
Yeah.
probably right. It's like, okay, but why would they buy them? And it's like, oh, because they're like some of the first NFTs to ever exist on that chain. And so I think that like people will do their research, people will investigate, and eventually they're going to come like figure out, oh wait, so this is how important it is. I at least I think so. I mean, people can just blindly ape in, but
Oh, yeah. I hope that's the
yeah,
case. It's just people. My problem is most people are they're stupid, and like
there it
a
is,
lot of
dude.
that. Yeah, a lot of that part of the bell curve is kind of already gone when you have like the people that have figured out how to use a Phantom wallet. You've cut out like the bottom 40% of the population. um, but
Yeah.
once the mechanics get easier, I don't know. We'll see. But I do hope you're right because it would be nice if people buy these things with an appreciation of what they went through.
Yeah. No,
I mean, I actually did want to talk about that, Pitt, was what did you go through?
Oh, well, I can't really say, but it sucked. It was
that's all we need. That's the quote. I
it
can't
was
say,
it
but
was
it sucked.
it was painful. He was
Oh,
deep in the dumpster. He had to dive deep.
yeah, I had to dive deep. I mean, just suffice to say, I know Monolith well. We've been through some shit.
Blood brothers.
It sucked. Yeah, we're blood brothers. And I love the guy. Yeah, so for me, this brand represents, both death and resurrection all wrapped up in one. Multiple
Twice.
times now.
Yeah.
Twice.
Just
Yeah.
in a tiny amount of time. But, this is kind of the reminder to the community. There's not just with Candy Machine, but there's a lot going on, a lot of negativity going on in crypto Twitter right now. There's been a lot of FUD against Solana this week. Obviously, we believe that it's unjustified. And I keep trying to remind people, like, hey, we're still in beta. We're still, like, in the first few months of figuring this stuff out. NFTs have only existed on Solana since August. We're still, when we say we're early, we actually are early. Like, really, really early. And to me, it's amazing to think about it from this perspective that these things happen. Candy Machine happened, and Candy Machine version 2 happened because of the Degen Ape Academy and the Degen Trash Panda launches. Because the hype around these projects was so overwhelming that an innovation had to occur in order to actually move Solana forward and move NFTs on Solana forward. And it had to occur again to overcome a problem with botting and people manipulating the system. And while it existed, all of these problems existed to some small degree, it took a mega project, the mega project, to actually bring it to light and force the entire ecosystem to evolve with it.
Yeah, totally true. I don't really see the other brands doing like if you look at the other brands, they don't really push the envelope quite as much, at least in my opinion. But I'm biased. Yeah, I think that Solana, the ecosystem does best in Cataclysm. Because it's so fast to move on Solana that like it's sort of like if you heat up a jar of bacteria, they evolve faster because they're able to interact more. Solana's low transaction fees and quick and short block time mean that you can do a lot of stuff very cheaply, very quickly. It also means you can find problems very cheaply, very quickly, and destroy things very cheaply and very quickly. But with that death comes rebirth. That's also quite quick. And I think just like we solved this botting issue in a couple of weeks of concentrated thinking, I think this IDO botting issue that is happening now in the more wider ecosystem that slowed things down yesterday, I think it's just going to go away. I think it'll be figured out by smart people doing smart things, as always happens on Solana. I have like no doubt in my mind that it's a problem that is solvable.
Same here. I have no doubt in my mind either, even if it's several wrinkled brains above mine. The thing about it, I mean, the thing about it that's so amazing though is, again, like, that's the entire point of a beta. The entire point of a beta is to roll it out in front of a nice enough crowds where if they just use it the way they were going to use it, they find shit that's broken.
Oh yeah. I mean, and I think, like, look, if you're not ready to take on these risks with Solana generally, then that's totally fine. That's your choice. You have a risk tolerance, right? And Solana requires a certain risk tolerance to use. And if you don't feel your capital is safe there for the thing that you're doing, then take it out and go do something else. Like, no one's putting a gun to your head. But if you are going to stay here, I would appreciate it if you would stop complaining that Solana is down and that everything is dead. It still processed like 100 times, 200 times more transactions than Ethereum did when it was quote unquote down.
I mean,
it's ridiculous to me.
I remember, not to cut you off, I remember seeing that the TPS dropped down to 1,000, and like it's like, it dropped down to 1,000, huh? Oh man, boo-hoo! Like that's so terrible.
Yeah.
Wait, isn't Ethereum at 15 TPS? Nope, Solana. Like, let's sell Solana now. Let's fund it because it dropped to 1,000 TPS. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, I think I tried to do a transaction yesterday. I was staking my stoned ape. The first transaction failed. The second transaction succeeded. And it cost me like 4 cents and 24 seconds instead of 2 cents and 12 seconds. And it's like, all right, like, I'm sure whatever is wrong with that first transaction, they're going to fix it, but boo-hoo,
Yeah.
So,
it's a pioneer's land right now. That we're not looking to establish. I mean, the first cities haven't been established in Solana. Like, right now, it's all a bunch of people in wagons pulling their oxen out into the desert. Like, everyone's complaining that there aren't cities yet, and there aren't lawmen and stuff like that.
Yeah, where's the wells?
At that time.
Yeah.
Where are the wells? Like, dig the fucking well. Dig it. Like, people seem to think that because there's a lot of money locked in Solana and there's a lot more, it's grown so quickly that it should be this perfectly working civilized piece of machinery, but it's not yet. None of the blockchains truly are there yet. Like, we're looking at a decade-long like war that we're going to be fighting. So it's what, like you said, like, it seems like it was February, but the actual ape mint was in August. But it seems like it was months and months and months ago. Really, everything's just getting started. Like, Solana's real activity picked up after, I think, June, when the Metaplex protocol first launched. That's when it went from being sort of just a staking finance chain to a consumer retail chain. And I think it's just going to continue. And as it grows like that, you're going to have these hiccups, these scaling hiccups. You just deal with them.
Yep.
And that's actually a part of my investment, like, or thesis, if you will, is like, with all this time that's happened, which really isn't that much, we've already a lot has been acquired in the results. And also, when you look at like the 3-year, like 10-year outlook on where we're going and what the potential is, it just feels like, to me, it seems so obvious, right? To hold on to Solana, to be involved, and to certainly get the Gen 1 NFTs. It doesn't have to be exclusively DAA, DTP, but those are my favorites for sure, alongside of Rory. I think they're just going to be great. Not to shill Rory on this pod, but
no,
certainly,
this isn't the Degen channel. This is the Knox channel. We can, if you like a project, go ahead and say them.
No. This is about the Degeniverse today. But my point is, when like you're trying to build a brand and there's this big time outlook, like, certainly there's a lot of potential. And so I guess I was trying to relate back to, how we're early now and like the future looks so bright, right? So.
Yeah, which brings me to floor prices. This obsession people have with floor prices. It's like, they're like watching it day after day. It's like, what are you, like a day trader? Like, what are you what are you trying to do? Like the reason that you buy the big blue chip brands is not to sell them and flip them immediately. That's what you do with those crappy little mints that don't mean anything. You buy one and then you flip it, right? But like these brands are not made for that. These brands are 10-year plays.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so why would you care about a floor price?
Yeah, no, floor, I guess it's just like, well, anyway, do you have an opinion on that, Knox, or you want me to talk about that a bit? Or?
No, I mean, I think Bard, I'm going to be really interested to hear what you have to say about it. My opinion is just that it's an opinion. I'm not a technical analysis guy. I have been through the shit before already. I've been through crypto cycles. I was around since 2017, survived crypto winter, and I remember getting caught up in the IDO pump and dumps and all of that shit that happened then.
Oh yeah.
And then even earlier this year, it was DeFi shit farms that were pump and dumps. It was on Matic and BSC, but every day a new shit farm would pop up. It was pure Ponzi.
Yeah.
They would just suck all of the money out of the ecosystem into their devs' pockets, and then they would do it again the next day with, a dolphin instead of a giraffe. And that's literally that's literally all that would happen with DeFi on BSC and Matic. So they've literally just taken that business model and turned it into NFTs, and that's just what you're seeing lately, not just on Solana, but on all these chains. Tron is having this problem now. Cardano is having this problem now. But to me, the OGs, the ones that were there, the ones that were part of the innovation, and the ones that are contributing back to the Solana ecosystem, that's the Solana monkeys, that's Thugbirds, of course that's Aurori as a gaming platform, and obviously we're here to talk about the Degeniverse today. All of those were actually real projects by real people with a real purpose and a real community.
Yeah.
And those are to me, that's what makes them blue chips. And to talk about flipping blue chips, to me, it doesn't make any sense, because that would be the akin to flipping a blue chip stock. Like, nobody gets into Johnson & Johnson with a 3-week horizon. Like, so, to me, like, these are the ones where there is sustained value in community with also a moonshot potential if you hold it for more than an hour, really more than a year. And then you get long-term capital gains tax, not financial advice. But to me, I could give a shit less about the floor. If the floor goes to zero, what do we say? Like, I'll ride this shit to zero and back again? Like,
I'm gonna diamond hand this shit. Yeah.
Because I've got an elite crew, and talking about selling my apes. I've got 6 of these. Yeah, but I don't know. I think it was Soul Snatcher originally. I don't remember who originally tweeted it, but that's true. That's actually how I feel. I don't care. I'm not selling this stuff. I'm here for the community. And, I bought an ape 2 or 3 days ago, a leopard ape, and I bought it for my son. Because, and he's 3. He's not going to get this for another 15 years.
That's going to appreciate so well, yeah.
Maybe it will. I don't care if it does, but it's something personal to me.
Yeah, I'm bullish as hell on the leopard print.
Yeah, let's go, dude.
I love the Leos. I think they're undervalued. But
I would say I agree. Basically, like, the floor doesn't really matter. For me, ultimately, what it came down to was, when the Degen Trash Panda mint was announced, I was immediately like, I'm not even going to try to time this anymore. And then I bought like 10 floor apes, and I was like, okay, all right, like, good luck, have fun. Like, there's no point, because I knew, like, at that point, and also I had kind of an inkling of a feeling who was involved. Not that particularly matters at this point, but like, just the potential of this brand of NFTs and where things are going. I was like, I'm not going to time this anymore. And so when I see the floor go down, I'm like, that kind of sucks, because I could have gotten 3 more apes if I had bought lower. But at the same time, it's like, I'm not going to try to time this. I'm not going to try to, play into the 4-year cycle, which I was going to mention. But like, it's like, we're not sure if it's a meme or not. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But in the event that, the cycle does end and we go into like a bearish phase, I still think it's very important, like, to pick it up now, at least for me, regardless of how I'm timing the market. So,
yeah, no, I think you're right. Like, if you believe in Solana and you believe in the ecosystem and you believe in Solana NFTs, then kind of by default, you believe in these OG classic Gen 1 blue chip NFTs.
Yeah, the
And-
ones. Yeah,
And I think that the most marketable, the most brand worthy, the most meme worthy one is the Degen Ape Academy because of the artwork, because of the culture, because of the community, because of how engaged the community is with Create. I mean, it's so amazing.
I mean,
And
yeah.
I
Oh yeah.
I
Sorry,
think-
go for it.
well, and I think you're going to end up, if you care about the floor, I think you're going to end up with a Basie situation with a $200,000 floor someday. I don't know when that'll be. It might go to zero and then go to 200,000. I don't know. We don't know these things. But again, I don't really care about the floor because my outlook is more about actually my investment thesis right now is really to have something that, I can bond with with my son. And,
That's cool.
and that's going to take that because I'm bonding with my mom about it right now, right? Y'all follow Nana Trades, and
Yeah.
she's big into the Degeniverse, and now
He's
it's
awesome, by the way.
and
Yeah.
but this is why like it's more than just an NFT. It's more than just an
Yeah.
investment for me. It's now personal, and I'm building bonds with my family that I don't think I would have otherwise gotten had this project not been created.
Nice.
I'm
Yeah,
like bending bonds with my family because of this project. It's like stressing them.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Pit, what are you doing?
This stalled mint has not been great for my marriage.
Yeah. Oh god. Yeah, I can't remember. I think when I was talking to Pitt, he was like coding. He was coding it, but it was like at an obscure hour of the day, and I was like, man, this guy's really about to go into it. Like it was very early in the morning, and like I mean, who knows what time zone he is? I'm not gonna say anything, but like basically, it was very apparent that he was about to do like a very long session to finish this mint. So yeah.
Oh yeah, and whatever it takes, we leave no panda behind.
I mean, it has been multiple heroic efforts on your part to not just get a mint out, but to evolve the ecosystem and move it forward and make it safe for investors to come along and mint. So, I said it to you last time. I'll say it again. Like, we owe you a tremendous amount of gratitude that you will never get enough of. And I know people have told you.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's true. It is. We can't thank you enough. Literally, it can't be done because the tremendous amount, probably billions of dollars, trillions of dollars value could potentially be created because of your innovations that you're making now.
I hope that we get to 1 trillion. I would like to tattoo that on my ass. I always thought, like, professionally, I was like, if I could make something that was worth $1 billion, I would be happy. And then I got there, and now it just seems pedestrian. 1 trillion, I could get behind that.
Let's go for it. I mean,
Yeah.
if you believe in the long run of this technology, what Bitcoin got to $1 trillion market cap. And, I personally believe that. So I forgot who it was. Ksom.Soul tweeted it yesterday that 2017, there was a bear market, right? And we know about this thing, right? Crypto winter. And his argument was that if we have another bear market cycle, it won't even be that bad. And his argument was that the 2017 cycle was focused on old crypto, is what he liked to call it. Old money, old crypto, because it was focused on the traditional usage of cryptocurrency and not necessarily the tech. Whereas now we live in a world of builders where people are building on Solana, people are building on Polkadot, people are building on Ethereum, and those people are not checking the prices every single day. If the price of Solana implodes, it nukes down to, make up something $50, people are still going to be building on Solana. And
yeah, that is the difference. I actually didn't know that it had taken a plunge till my my stepmom pinged me and told me not to tell my dad that it had dropped so much. And I was like, what do you mean?
Oh, no.
And then I checked and I was like, oh, well, I'm still up, 15x. After.
yeah,
I went back to work.
Yeah, I mean, it's still up 10,000% on the year. It's not up 15,000%
Yeah,
on the year.
Solana's been on an epic run. It's crazy.
It is, but but it's merited, and this is where I was kind of going. Is that like his argument was that Ethereum and Solana can and probably will flip Bitcoin in the next few years. And at that point, Solana would potentially be a $1 trillion market cap.
Yeah, I mean, I personally see. I think we're gonna have an Apple Android situation once Ethereum figures out their gas fees. I think two things are gonna happen. Ethereum will figure out their gas fees, and also there will be a mass exodus from Ethereum to Solana. The exodus will cause gas fees to go down because there will be fewer people using it, and once you get to a reasonable gas fee level from technological improvements and people from in egress, you'll have two systems that can coexist that are reasonably similar in user experience, and that'll be Ethereum and Solana. Those will be the two chains. The idea of like inventing new chains, I think we're past the point of new chains. Like that'll already happen. I think you're going to end up with like 2 or 3. So it'll be Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and Ethereum and Solana will each control like 35% of the market each. That's the world I think is going to happen.
Yeah, I would say I have to agree, right? It's like, I mean, nobody can possibly afford Ethereum at this point, or at least most retail participants. And then when you have all these P2E games coming out with like, again, Aurora, there's probably a bunch of other ones too. I mean, all those transactions that have to occur are going to be very expensive. And like a singular transaction on Ethereum is just way too expensive to even consider, mainstream adoption at this point. So I think there's just going to be a new generation of people that are just growing up using Solana, and they're going to be used to it. And then I think just Solana will end up siphoning market share. Just it's inevitable, in my opinion. So,
yep. The only reason. Listen, if you use Solana first, you're not going to ever use Ethereum, and if you use Ethereum and you're not an Ethereum maxi and you use Solana, you're gonna keep using Solana. That's the essential problem, right? Because it's better.
I mean, if you've ever used Phantom Wallet and you've ever used MetaMask, it's abundantly clear. It's like, whoa, this is so much better.
Even the mobile solutions right now are so much better. I got Solflare up and running on my phone.
How is that?
Oh my god, amazing! They're adding the Ledger Bluetooth functionality by the end of this month. They said. At that point, I can do literally anything that I want on mobile, whether it's staking, buying NFTs off of Magic Eden or Solanart, or any DeFi because it supports Tulip and all of these things. Anything I want can be done on the Solflare wallet in the next couple weeks. Phenomenal.
Cool.
Can't recommend it enough.
I have Slope right now, but I'll check it out.
Yeah, I like Slope too, but I don't think Slope has staking, and they haven't said they're doing the Ledger Bluetooth support, whereas Solflare already has staking, and they're adding Ledger Bluetooth. They said it's their top priority, and it'll be out in the next few weeks. Then they're adding an extension for Safari. Then they're doing iPad OS on top of that. And I was like,
nice.
That's it. That's all I need. Like, I could literally buy an NFT on my phone right now. And it was...
Solflare also does have the best NFT support of all the wallets already.
It's fantastic. And and it's like tap to hold, and you can save the image to your phone too.
Yeah, once that becomes streamlined, I think that'll be pretty huge. Because I mean, on Jimmy Fallon, right, he was talking about how you use this device or this app in order to purchase an ape, and so by virtue of having like a streamlined process where you can purchase it just from your phone and add it to your wallet is going to be huge. I agree. Yep.
And then you've got, if you're brave enough to carry your ledger on your keychain or something like that, you've got 2-factor. You can do it, while drinking a beer at the bar. You get a text alert.
Your day ledger.
Exactly, your day. I mean, I've got multiple ledgers. I've got my Go ledger, my Stay ledger. So, but yeah, I mean, you could get like a push notification that some ape with some attribute has just been listed for way under value, and you're firing off the purchase right there, mid-beer, something like that. Anyways, I'm getting way off track talking about this. I guess bringing it full circle, like the apes, and really the Degeniverse, not just the apes, but also the trash pandas. We should never forget the trash pandas. Pit, you've said it a few times that they've been forged in fire. And to me, the memes that come out of that, Monolith is typing, Like the memes that have come out of that, the community that's come out of that, the people and the mobilized effort that's come out of that, the artwork that's come out of it. There's something iconic about the Degens and their red hoodies that I just haven't seen. I have only seen this similarly with Bay C, and not even to the extent that I've seen it over here with the Degens. There's something special about it. There just is.
Yeah, there are. I do feel like people are especially more active. They're more patriotic. There's a lot more. I mean, hell, even the trolls are more trolly in this universe than any other universe. I literally I can't even tweet a completely innocuous thing like the Mint is live without getting attacked. And the attacks are so personal and vicious that like I don't think I would get that in any other universe. It's special.
It gets down and dirty, man. Yeah, maybe it's there's a lot to say about it. I mean, even the resolution is a meme, right? Like it's literally 1069 by 1069. Like it's forged in fire, and it's also forged in memes, and it's also forged in raw emotion. It's good. I love it.
Yep. And I think just the types of people that are attracted to this project is one of the more interesting things to me. You know, the type of people that I see in the Degen DAO are different from other DAOs. Not that they're better or worse or anything like that. They're just different in that they are all so immediately willing to contribute in some way, whether big or small. Whether that's creating something that was very creative that I could never do, or building something, or even just taking point on some task that needs to be done, like, I don't know, spinning up a validator node on the Solana blockchain. I haven't seen this level of community mobilization in any other project, and that in itself is very awe-inspiring.
Didn't we get to over like 50K in like less than a few days? Like it was over 50K Solana, right? That was crazy.
We're at like 59K today.
Oh my god, it doesn't make sense. I mean, when you have such a big community, like you've got the Gen 1 and the Gen 2, I guess it kind of makes sense, but it's still just remarkable. It's like, wow, we literally assembled over over $10 million staked to a validator, and we're helping secure the blockchain. I think that's phenomenal.
Mm-hmm. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I think it'll only get better. Eventually, we get to the point where we can offer like collateralized loans. Like there are financial products. Once these things become available, more easy to use, these protocols are easier. We can back them as a DAO, and we've expanded the number of spots. It used to be there were only 10,000 spots available. Now there are 30,000. Right, and as long as you expand the number of spots at a much lower rate than people want to come in, the floor goes up for everyone over time.
Yep. But nobody cares about the floor. You shouldn't care about the
floor. Yeah, don't worry about the floor.
You should care. Okay. Yeah, you should care about the floor over long time periods. Caring about the floor over 2 days is stupid. Caring about the floor over 3 years, not stupid.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right.
Agreed.
And I think that is an important message, is to remember that there are 30,000 spots, not 10,000. And if you're wondering how you can get in, maybe take a look at the Degen Trash Panda first. Dip your toe in the water and see what the community vibe is really all about. The main chat channel, the main one where a lot of people chat in, is open to both apes and pandas. And it's a fantastic way just to get to know the people in your community. So
yeah, it's like a $200 ticket in as opposed to $20,000.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I think it's a safe play to try it, and you can flip it just as easily. Flipping floor pandas or floor apes are the easiest things to flip. If you turn out that you don't like it, you can get most of your money back, or even maybe make a profit depending on when you sell.
Yeah, I mean, so that is that's where the liquidity is, right? It's at the bottom. That's
at the very bottom. Yeah,
and that's where if you need to get out, that's why the floors are usually the best trade. If you're just looking to get in, test it, and get out. But what we're finding, at least what I'm saying, I've been saying this for a few days now, that we're building a house one brick at a time. And I'm seeing these tweets all the damn time. Everybody finally just joined the Degen Ape Academy. Finally was able to get in. Finally, I did a thing. And every time I see that, I retweet it and I say +1 brick. because we've just added one
Yep.
more brick to the house. This is someone who legitimately wanted to get in and was just waiting for their moment. And that is building the house.
Yeah, and I do think most of the sell pressure on both of these markets is not people leaving the community, though with the exception of one person I hope leaves and never comes back. I think it's people. I think it's people with extra apes or extra pandas seeking liquidity, but they're not actually intending to leave the community, which I see as an important distinction. Like everyone needs liquidity every now and then. It makes perfect sense. But when you sell your last one, you can't vote anymore. You've sort of lost your membership. Which is a different step to take.
Yeah, that's why a lot of people actually buy two. One
Yep,
to trade.
they buy two, they buy three, yeah, something like
Yeah.
that.
I mean, it's not that's again not financial advice, but it does make a lot of sense that if you buy two at 20 each, sell one at 40, now you're just playing with house money, right? And you can be in the community. And
yeah, or you could be like Bardstocks and have 300. You know, there are ranges. There are ranges.
I just really like raccoons, man. I'm sorry.
Really like yeah,
it's really cool.
Yeah, like you can have any level. What is cool? It's actually being a whale is interesting because a lot of people complain to me about the whales, but I tell them that being a whale is actually it's much harder than just being a normal holder because you're kind of functioning as a market maker too. You are supply. You're like a you have inventory risk. You have to time your sells. You can materially affect the market. You also normally have a large liquidity reserve available to sweep floors, so you're serving as a floor stabilization service. Like the thing is the whales in the community actually serve very interesting purposes. Like they kind of they're like decentralized market makers. It's very interesting, and it's also takes skill.
yes.
There are not very many stupid whales.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so there's someone on Twitter, he's very prominent. He said something interesting to me one day, which was, he was talking to someone else and he said that that person said, or he said that the alt BTC bottom was looking like it was in back in 2019 or whatever, and that turned out not to be the case. But then the guy he was talking to said, no, whales make the bottom, right? And so in this case with NFTs, it's very similar where, the whales they are market makers. They can set the floor. If HFP wants to, and that guy owns me for sure. I'm a small fry compared to that dude. He will just, I don't know who he is. He might be some sultan. Like, I don't know, but he could very easily just cover the floor for everyone and say, okay, this is it. This is the end. No more going down. It's only up only from here, right? And so, yeah, there's truth to that 100%.
Yep, it's a weird thing, and I haven't seen it anywhere else, but the NFT communities. But that is what makes them. And I do think that probably because of the numbers, I would not be surprised to find that there are more whales here in the Degeniverse than any other of the communities. Like there are more whales, and they have more voice. Most whales in other communities just kind of sit there, and they're more holding. But because of the way that the DAO with the extra O works. And the way that the power structures work out, these whales end up being a lot like the Roman senatorial class back in ancient Rome. They own large tracts of land. They have a senatorial seat, in the Degen DAO. When they say things, they matter, and they all collude together to pass policies. And it's sort of an interesting dynamic that you don't see in other DAOs because of they're structured differently. But ours actually produces this kind of functioning plutocracy where the people that have the reason to care the most do care the most and actually do things about
it.
So we've got Google's going to kick us out in like 60 seconds. We can either leave and then come back into a new chat and keep talking, or we can wrap this up. Okay, so let's kick right back up where we were.
Yep.
So, it's interesting that you talk about that, how the whales in the Degeniverse are different from the whales that we've seen elsewhere, because of how involved they are. And I actually agree with that. I've seen these whales active on Twitter, welcoming new members in.
Well, it's because they can actually affect change in such a way that raises the tide on all boats because of the government structure that the system has, right? So yeah, it's like it's economically beneficial for the whales in this case to act, whereas I think in other ecosystems, being it's sort of a negative if there are too many whales, right? Like if there are too many whales, it's too thin of a community, and so the whales I think generally just tend to stay quiet because they don't want to freak people out and thus affect their investment. But because of the way that the Degeniverse is set up, they actually you get alpha essentially from having active whales.
Yep.
Like Bardstocks is actually a great example of this. He's probably the most prominent, outspoken whale on Twitter. He makes probably, in my opinion, the best cases for putting money into the Degeniverse. And people respect his opinion because he has so many of them. Like he literally put his money where his mouth is. HFP has customs made of him. Like there's more of a celebrity status to whales from the Degeniverse than there are with other whales, which are these faceless, beings, leviathans in the deep, and other ecosystems.
That is true. Yeah. I do adhere to like public opinion though, for sure. Like, even if I'm a whale and I have a lot of votes, I still like respect everyone involved. So
yeah, it's impossible to in this place to get away from a flame war. So there is a balancing act with the masses.
Yeah.
But I think the whales having a lot more say in things actually makes sense because in bad cases, right, where plutocracy is bad is where the plutocrats don't understand how the system actually works and they try to make it work better and it goes terribly. I'm thinking like Eastern Europe, Soviet style communism. But in this case, the people that are whales are the most crypto native of the bunch normally, and they're the most knowledgeable of both the IP and the mechanics behind the drop. So if you're actually looking for an informed opinion on what you should do, with a brand, probably the whales actually know best in this case, because it's not like asking a rich guy who owns a giant set of farms how industry should work, right? This is like these people are rich because they bought in early, and they are rich because they understand how this little world works, and like the rules are the same. They keep being the same. These people are experts.
That's exactly it, and I think it's an important factor. Now that you put, I had never actually sat around and thought about it this much and how much of an impact they have, but it's spot on. And again, I haven't seen this really anywhere else, which is kind of another fascinating point.
Yeah. For me, it's like, well, I guess it is true to an extent. I would say, there is a reciprocal relationship going on where it's like, I would say whales are very good at identifying fundamentals and like market structures and understanding that they should be there first and to buy it first. And then their thesis plays out, which is when everyone else comes in and they were already there to begin with, right? So it's about identifying this like plot of land that is going to be good, that has the fundamentals, that is going to be valuable. And then you're just waiting for everyone else to eventually come over. I mean, you can also help like, foster the situation, help invest in the community and things like that, which kind of like is what some of the whales do. But certainly like if it just has the raw potential, then they're going to be attracted to it naturally. I think there is a reciprocation there, and it's not just like the whales being able to blow up any project that they want. It really is about like the community and the brand and the raw fundamentals. Yeah.
I mean, and that's just it. And again, if you're following this and you're not a whale, I think one of the things that we say is follow smart money, right? Well, whales are in the Degeniverse, and there's a reason for that. It's because of the fundamentals of the project. It's because Monolith isn't a Fiverr artist that they hired on the side. He's the brain behind the project, building the brand that we're now wearing in public.
I really want to know who he is. I want to know who he is so bad. Like I'm convinced he must have worked for Pixar or something. All right, I'm not going to speculate. We're not going to witch hunt here, but he must have been like, he's just so good. So yeah. I mean, maybe it's just natural. I don't know, but yeah.
No, my mom called me to ask me like, is he a savant? Is he a prodigy? Like she did.
A savant.
Yeah, he's made waves in the, I guess you call it, the real world.
I know he has.
Yeah.
He has to be somebody. I know
he's somebody.
It's got to be somebody. Yeah. Damn it, dude. I just want to know.
He's Banksy.
Oh my god. I have a couple ideas of who it is, but it's unfair because I have information I'm not supposed to have. Well, actually, I am supposed to have it, but I'm pretty sure I have a feeling who it is. It is very cool. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, whoever you are, Monolith.
Yeah, whoever he is.
Yeah. He is one of the reasons that attracts whales. And I think it goes without saying that we can take one look at this artwork, at the culture, at the comedy in the artwork, and we know, oh, well, that's going to get picked up by a studio someday. Like, I don't have any knowledge of.
Yeah, I mean, hell, it might be someday soon. Who knows?
Exactly. It might be soon. It might be 10 years from now. Whenever it's going to happen, but it's going to happen. Like, you can't not look at it.
That's what I was saying. Like when I first got into it, I was like, I mean, I was looking at all these projects and I was like, which is the one that I think could go to the movie theaters? Like, this is it. There's a perfect 2-hour movie playing in my head with these crazy apes getting into all sorts of misadventures, right? Like, it's so obvious and it's just there. Yeah.
Yep. Trey Parker, Matt Stone. I can see them writing the script. You know,
I honestly can't see anyone else writing the script, or maybe. Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's just, there's so much potential there. The main character is like an innocent little ape, you know, who has no clue what's happening.
My ape better be like the principal. I want to be licensed in there. No, I'll let them use the ape for free, okay? They can use the ape for free. Just put them in there. Let's go.
I do think some of the alumnus of the Ape universe should be in there as cameos.
Let's go.
I think that would be amazing. Amazing.
For free.
I mean, I don't care if you use my ape. I think that would be amazing, just for the recognition and alone.
Yeah, the marketing, and it would just be so cool.
Yeah. So these are all the reasons why I'm like, this is the whole picture. It's not just one reason that they happen to excel at a lot. It's like all the reasons. There is this ability to market this brand. There is the masterminds like Pit and Monolith behind the scenes who are grinding away unbelievable hours, not just for the project, but the entirety of Solana. There are whales who are supporting the project in a very major way, whether that's Bard or HFP or whoever. There are people in the community who may happen to have some free time or may never sleep, like Saint or me, who just want to do what we can because, we're not whales, but maybe we have some skill and we can contribute in some sort of way. There's people who have creativity. They just are so enthralled with the brand and the community that they want to take their time to create a music video. Or, the guy who won Create this week knitted an ape. Like, with an actual 3D ape. He knitted it. It was amazing. And I think, I just haven't seen this much involvement, engagement, encompassing of every single aspect of an NFT project the way that I have with the Degen Apes. Throw in the fact all of the historical significance that they tied to the Solana blockchain. Throw in the entire bullish sentiment for the Solana blockchain itself. And I don't see how this could ever not be a great long-term play. I just don't.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. I mean, that's exactly my thoughts. Yeah. What do you think, Pitt?
I agree completely. I have nothing to add to that. It's great.
It's true. It was good rant.
Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been an awesome time chatting with you guys. It always is. Because you're very smart, much smarter than me. And it also, I think, because, Pitt, you're coming from the dev side of things. Bard, you're coming from kind of a finance side of things. Everybody kind of has a different outlook as to what brought them here and why they're staying and where we think we're going. So it's nice to have this conversation and just talk about what does it mean to you. So I guess when we wrap up, if you had to sum it up in an elevator pitch, what does the Degeniverse mean to you?
It's batshit crazy, but I love it. It's a love-hate relationship where there's a lot of emotion, there's a lot of good times, and it's up and down sometimes with the mints, but ultimately it's got the goods. It's got the artist who we have no idea who he is, but we know he's very good. We have this amazing back-end team. We have the best blockchain. We have, this funding, which we've accumulated. We've raised $600,000 plus for charity. We've just accomplished so much in such a little amount of time. And we are historically significant. There's just, it's all wrapped into one really nice package. And to me, I feel like if you believe in NFTs, if you believe in everything that we're doing here, then surely this must be a very good play. So that's my pitch.
Yeah, this is the only intellectual property on Solana that can legitimately say it has like a metaverse, right? That legitimately has, you know, lore, characters, like things that like it feels real. It's not this contrived, you know, website that was thrown together by the creators to invent these things. All of the lore in this universe was created by humans interacting, you know, like particles bouncing off each other over time, right? Like this metaverse is real. It's the only one that feels like that. Like even you know, Solana Monkey Business, which I think is a fantastic intellectual property, I would never call it a metaverse, right? It's a great classic NFT to hold, but it's not a universe unto itself, and this one is. And I suspect that you're more likely to see someone walking down the street wearing, you know, an ape hoodie than you are any other kind of NFT, you know, 5 years from now. But you know, that's my personal thesis. I don't know if that'll actually come true. It's just my bet, and that's my elevator pitch for them, is that this is like, there's something about this one that has depth to it. And none of the others got it. They keep trying to pretend that they've got it, but very few of them are actually pulling it off. Probably the closest I've seen to pulling it off is like the Thugbirds or the Geckos. But like the Geckos, they don't act. Their artist isn't actually on their team. And with the Thugbirds, the art I don't think will lend itself as well to TV. And you know, that sort of medium. So like they're missing sort of a key component. That'll make them successful for wide market adoption.
Yep. And again, no disrespect to those projects, because they're phenomenal OG
Gen 1 they're great.
Projects that are doing they're each doing something, their own revolutionary thing. But I think our investment thesis for the Degeniverse, we think that is the strongest investment thesis.
Yes. Like I hold birds, I hold monkeys. I will never not hold them. They're amazing. But yeah, I do think the strongest play, especially the best bang for your buck right now, because the floor prices are atrocious. You know, like they're great if you want to get in, is the Degeniverse. Yeah, it's the best one on Solana right now, and it's the easiest, cheapest one to get into.
Yep.
And so you may as well do it. Like you may as well, if you're going to make a bet, like this is the place I would make a bet if you were going to make one bet.
Agreed 100%.
There's been a lot of good conversations about a ratio, like how many apes should you hold compared to how many trash pandas should you hold.
Oh, that's tough.
I know.
Well, trash pandas are cheap, so you may as well hold, you know, a lot of them.
So I think trash pandas relative to the apes are unreasonably cheap right now. I think that, like, because I'm already thinking about picking up another 100, because it would cost me like nothing to do it, like, or at least like relative to my portfolio size, it just doesn't make any other sense to not do it. I mean, the apes are what? How much are they? 36 Solana floor compared to like a below 2 Sol floor right now. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's like, would you rather buy 4 or would you rather buy 100? Yeah, you buy 100.
I would.
Sort of, and the thing, and if the apes go up by 10%, you know, the 4 that you've got are each worth 10% more. But like if the you know, floor goes up from 1.5 to 2.5 on the pandas, and you got 100 of them, you just made 100 Sol.
Yeah,
a killing. Yeah.
I do recommend trying to get at least one ape though. Like if you're starting fresh, like try to get one ape. But if you can't, no big deal. The raccoons are super awesome, and I do think they're like, I think both are just super undervalued. But I would try to get an ape as well. But yeah,
if you've got 30 Sol, buy an ape first, and then buy a couple trash pandas.
Yeah, buy a bunch.
Yeah, you definitely want to. You only want to just go trash pandas if you can't afford even a floor ape, and then get into the trash pandas just to get into the community.
I think that's going to be something that, you know, again, like I said at the intro and many times, none of this is financial advice, you guys, but, you know, not financial advice is get into the Degeniverse whatever way you can. The trash pandas are a great way to get your foot in the door, especially right now.
They're also cheap and highly liquid, and I hear that there's a whale that might scoop 100 Sol worth off of the floor.
I'm about to do it, dude. I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
It's so undervalued, dude. It doesn't make any sense. I'm about to take 200 of them. I'm serious. So
go, guys.
I recently had a phone call. I'm going to wrap by saying this. I recently was privileged enough to have a phone call, a Google Meet with Monolith and Conga and a couple other people. And they have so much in store over the foreseeable future. A lot of it was stuff that he wanted to keep so close to his chest he wouldn't even tell the people on the phone. But they have so much in store that one of the things that he said was that in a few short months, there will be so many people who will be so mad that they sold, especially at the prices that they sold at.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've been tweeting about it, that just across the market in general, but especially the Degeniverse, right now, all I see is opportunity. That's all I see.
Yeah.
And I'm scooping them up. I'm buying. I'm a buy with an E on the end. So
I'm a buyer.
I'm a buyer.
For sure.
So anyways,
All right.
that's my take. That's my elevator pitch, is that things are happening. And all you have to do is just look to the community to see it. All you have to do is look to Pit to see it. Look at what Pit has done. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Got the world on my shoulders. Yeah.
Many people will be standing on the shoulders of your giant. So that it's the truth. In the years to come, people will build upon what you've built from the ground up. And
Is it, you know that picture of Atlas, the guy who's like holding up this giant like rock about? Yeah, that's Pit right now, pretty much, or was at least until the mint launched today. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah. Yeah, now things are slowly getting back to normal again. I can start thinking about how I can torment people once more.
Yeah, now your wife won't leave you.
Exactly.
Yeah, now my wife won't leave me.
She might stay.
Yeah, she might stick around. I was like, honey, you gotta trust me. Like this mint, it's gonna get us a house. And then they did 0.1. And I was like,
oh, I'm sorry, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
and then I was like, yeah, and my wife was like, I knew you were full of shit. And then I'm like, it's okay, we'll mint them all, and then the royalties, that'll do it. And then it was like, we have to shut down the mint. And she was like, you motherfucker. I'm like, fuck. Okay.
Mint Squad, you better watch out. There's an unhappy wife. Yeah, they're not.
She's like, the raccoons are cute, but they're a joke. They keep lying to me. I'm like, okay, do the best I can.
I'm laughing over here because I'm kind of dealing with similar stuff at home, where my wife just has absolutely no concept of what any of this means, why it's important to me. She does not care at all. I can sit here and if I say the word NFT in front of her, she just kind of zones out. It's so funny.
I got that going on.
It's all fake. It's all fake money to her. It's like it's.
I know. Yeah, it's kind of funny because like I keep trying. Like she doesn't even tell people like what I do anymore. You know, like it's like because it's kind of embarrassing now. It's like, what do you do? It's like, oh, you know.
Oh no.
I'm in blockchain. I'm in NFTs. And then it's like, well, what's an NFT? It's like, oh, you know, it's like a picture, but like there's only one of them. You know, it's just like this whole thing. It's yeah, it'd be nice to get this thing back on track and actually moving again, you know, so I could like have some success with it, which is, you know, what I was looking forward to at the get-go. But, you know, things just never are that easy.
I think you're going to kill it, dude. I think you're absolutely going to kill it.
It's going to come to you in one way or another. It has to. It just has to.
Oh, hey, the world's an unfair place. We'll see what happens, but I am happy to be done with it. Right now, I'm trying to make the heart script work with the new candy machine. Because I have to torment the new people too.
Oh no! Yeah. There's a lot of people who are like trying to figure out what it is. Even I don't have like 100% understanding because I thought I did, and I thought like I understood it, and now it's just like, wait, what? Wait, not all of these have like the certain heart count that I thought they would have. So I don't even know what's going on.
Oh yeah. My favorite is there's like this like religious movement of people who are you know, doing like mass delisting and listing. I that was exactly what I wanted to see. I wanted to foment like whole religious groups. Yeah, it's having the effect that I desired.
Oh no.
I'm already thinking about next month's mini game, and I'll probably be announcing the sort of the reward structure for this game on the 20th. Because we're finished with it. But yeah, I'll probably on the 20th this month is when we officially sort of finish this game and distribute alpha based on performance.
Okay.
So Yeah, there's a bit of alpha for you.
I
The
wonder
alpha
what
will be distributed. Yeah.
I wonder what the general response is gonna be. Is like when you reveal how the game worked. I just wonder, like, people they're probably either gonna be really mad or really happy. I feel like it's gonna be one or the other. There's gonna be
I mean, I don't expect to be everyone's hero. I expect to be vilified, but that's okay. That's okay.
there's gonna be
It's
There's-
through the
yeah.
making of enemies that friendships are made. Because if two people hate me, they have something in common, and then they become friends. You know.
You know what? Sometimes you
And then
have to.
who's the real winner?
Yeah. Yeah, you got to take the hit, for the community to succeed. It makes sense.
Oh yeah, and hey, we'll come back on here and do another chat when I reveal the game rules. So we could talk about it. It's gonna be fun.
I think that'd be awesome. I would love that.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
guys.
if I can come, I'll come. Yeah, and we're
Oh,
calling
yeah.
it here.
Yeah, we'll call it here. We'll do it here. Oh, maybe
Yeah.
this will be the place where I'll announce the game rules on here.
Well, so a little bit
yeah.
of a spoiler is we are launching tomorrow our own Degen DAO YouTube channel called Degen TV.
Oh, cool.
And
So maybe we can do the announcement there.
I think that would be a perfect spot for it.
Yes, we do
Sounds
it there,
good.
and then we'll release it, and the world can go insane, and then we can do a follow-up where we talk about why people are angry and want to kill me.
Oh God,
Yeah.
I love it.
it's undeserved.
get in line.
Don't hate Pitt. Pitt's great, man.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
you put in
like,
so much
get in
effort.
line. Oh, I know. Hey, and they're gonna have to get in line behind my wife anyway. So
Yeah, that's
You know
true.
what? There's
right?
not gonna be anything left.
Yeah. True. Big true.
Yeah. All right,
Okay,
guys.
so
I
that's
gotta
it?
go.
Yeah.
All right, y'all.
I will. Yeah, I'll talk to you later.
It has been real. Thank you for jumping in, you guys. Y'all have a good one. We'll catch you in the next one.
All right. Peace.